I wasn't supposed to hear about it. The Christmas dinner, the toast, the joke they made about me not being there. But news travels in families, even when it shouldn't. It came through a cousin. A simple message. Hey, I didn't know if you'd want to hear this, but they talked about you last night. I stared at the screen for a moment before replying. What do you mean? There was a pause. Then, they raised a toast about how peaceful things have been since you left. I didn't respond immediately, not because I was shocked, but because I wasn't, still seeing it written like that made it real in a different way. I typed back. What exactly did they say? Another pause. Then the message came. Your dad laughed and said, "Best Christmas gift this year? No drama." I leaned back slowly, exhaled, not angry, not even hurt the way I would have been before, just clear. Because this wasn't new. I had already left months ago, quietly, no fight, no big argument, just distance. The kind that builds over time until it finally becomes action. For years, I had been the difficult one, the one who questioned things, the one who didn't just agree to keep the peace. And eventually, that becomes a problem in families that prefer silence over honesty. So I stepped away, not dramatically, just enough to breathe, to think, to exist without being constantly reduced to a role I didn't choose. And apparently, they celebrated that absence. I put my phone down and didn't reply because there was nothing to say. Not everything needs a reaction. A few days later, I received another message, this time from my father. You didn't call on Christmas. I read it once, then again. No, we missed you. No, how are you? Just an observation. I typed back. Didn't think it would matter. The reply came quickly. Family always matters. I looked at the screen for a second, then replied. Does it? No answer after that. And honestly, I didn't expect one, because sometimes people only notice your absence when it becomes inconvenient for them, not when it actually matters. A week later, I received a call, not from family, from a lawyer. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Hello, good afternoon. The voice said, I'm calling regarding a legal matter involving your name. I frowned slightly. My name? Yes, he continued. I believe it would be best if we discuss this in person. I agreed, out of curiosity more than concern. The meeting was scheduled 2 days later. When I walked into his office, everything felt formal, organized, serious. He asked me to sit, then placed a file in front of me. This involves your late grandfather, he said. I blinked. My grandfather? Yes. I hadn't heard much about him in recent years. He lived separately, kept his distance from most of the family, much like I had started doing. He passed away last month. The lawyer continued. I nodded slowly. I didn't know. He looked at me carefully. He left a will. That part didn't surprise me. What came next did. And you, he said, are specifically mentioned in it. I sat still, not reacting, just listening. There are conditions, he added, but also significant assets involved. I leaned back slightly, processing, because suddenly things were starting to connect. The distance, the silence, the way my grandfather had always observed more than he spoke. And now, this. I closed the file slowly. All right, I said calmly, explain everything, because whatever this was, it wasn't random, and somehow it was about to bring me right back into the middle of a family that had just toasted my absence. The lawyer didn't rush. He opened the file again and slid a few documents toward me. Your grandfather updated his will 6 months ago, he said, very specifically. I leaned forward slightly. Specifically how? He adjusted his glasses. The majority of his estate property, investments, and liquid assets, is assigned to you. I didn't react immediately. Majority? I repeated, yes. I exhaled slowly. And the rest of the family? They are mentioned, he said carefully, but in much smaller portions. That explained a lot. But there's a condition, he added. I nodded. I assumed there would be. He pointed to a paragraph in the document. You only receive full control if you choose to manage the estate independently. I looked up. Independently? Yes, he said. No shared control, no redistribution under pressure. The wording is very clear. I almost smiled. That sounded like him. Quiet, observant, decisive. And if I don't? I asked. The estate is divided among other family members. He replied. There it was. A choice. Not just about money, about boundaries, about control, about whether I would step back into something I had already stepped away from. I closed the file slowly. I need time, I said. Of course, he replied. But I should inform you, your family has already contacted this office. That didn't surprise me. Of course they have, I said. They're aware of the will, he continued, and they're expecting a discussion. I nodded. All right. The meeting ended there. No pressure, just clarity. But outside that office, everything felt heavier, because now it wasn't just distance anymore. It was decision. 2 days later, my father called. His tone was different this time. Warmer, measured. Beta, we should meet, he said. I didn't ask why. I know, I replied. We met at the same house, same living room, same arrangement, but the energy had changed. Subtle, controlled. Everyone was there again, waiting, like before. Only this time, no one pretended it was casual. My father started first. We heard about your grandfather's will. I nodded. Yes. My sister leaned forward. It's a big responsibility, she said. You shouldn't handle it alone. The same line, different context. I looked at her. I've handled bigger things alone. I said calmly. No one argued that, because they knew. My uncle spoke next. We're family, he said. These decisions affect all of us. I tilted my head slightly. Do they? The room went quiet for a second. My father stepped in. We're not here to argue, he said. We're here to discuss what's fair. Fair. That word again. I almost let out a small breath, because fairness hadn't been part of the conversation. Until now. I leaned back slightly. Was it fair when I left and no one called? I asked. No answer. Was it fair when you joked about me not being here? I continued. My father looked at me sharply. That wasn't. It was, I said calmly. I heard about it. Silence. Not defensive. Just exposed. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I just said it and let it sit there. My sister looked down. My uncle shifted in his seat, because some truths don't need explanation. They just need acknowledgement. After a moment, my father spoke again. This isn't about the past, he said. It is, I replied. That stopped everything, because that was the part they didn't want to include. But it was the only part that mattered. I looked around the room, at the same people who had been comfortable with my absence, until it became inconvenient. Then I said something simple. I'll make my decision. I said, no details, no promises, just that. Because this time, I wasn't reacting to them. I was deciding for myself. And whatever I chose next wouldn't be influenced by guilt, or pressure, or sudden interest. Just clarity,